Good morning. May I please draw your attention? I'm Senior Chief Warrant Officer Clary. I just want to convey some few admin arrangements in terms of the arrival of the chief. As you know that this is composed with the civilian as well as military personnel. On the arrival of the chief from this door, I'm going to request all military personnel members to stand up. Then I will do the necessary protocol. And by that time, our headdress will be on. As soon as they take in their seats, I will request everybody to be seated. If you are a civilian member, you are not obliged, but it will be very courteous if you do it with us. But if you are the uniform members and you are in uniform, in civilians, you are obliged to rise. And then once they finish with a briefing, media briefing, and then he's about to withdraw, the same procedure will suffice. I will ask everybody to stand, and they will be ushered outside. Then the program will be concluded, and I will be done with my duties and responsibility. Thank you.
Carry on, this is.
A very good morning to you all. I'm now starting with the media launch for the Armed Forces Day 2026. The Chief of the South African National Defence Force, General Mapwanya, Chief of the Army, Lieutenant General Mbata, Generals, Admirals, Chairperson of the Armed Forces Day Celebration 2026 Steering Committee, Brigadier General Tejana, and his event coordinators and planners. Our esteemed host, the Mayor of Thulamela Local Municipality, Councillor Rambuda, officers, warrant officers, non-commissioned officers, esteemed members of the media, members of the mayoral office, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. I am Brigadier General Selina Rollins, the Director, Defense Corporate Communication, and I will be the facilitator for today's media briefing. Yet, a warm welcome to another historic moment for us here in Thohoyandou for the Armed Forces Day 2026. As we begin with the business of the day, allow me to first introduce our respective panel for this morning. We have, as I mentioned, our Chief of the South African National Defence Force, General Ruzani Mapwanya. He is supported by the main executor of the Armed Forces Day 2026, Chief of the Army, General Lawrence Mbata, the main coordinator of the SANDF Steering Committee, Brigadier General Nkhabu Ntejane, and of course our esteemed host, the Mayor of Thulamela Local Municipality, our Councillor Sarah Rambuda. This panel is supported by all the event coordinators seated in the front, who will be able to provide extended information to the media on the various activities that are lined out for the 2-week-long AFD celebrations. Let me also take the opportunity to highlight a brief sequence of events for the program, as well as the protocols that will apply during this media briefing. In terms of the sequence of events, we will begin with the welcoming address by the Mayor of Thulamela Local Municipality, Councillor Sarah Rambuda. It will be followed by the Chief SANDF AFD statement. Then we will commence with a session of questions and answers to the panelists. The session will then be followed by a few announcements from my side, and we will close the media briefing for the day. So the duration of the program is expected not to take longer than an hour of your time. Some domestic orientation rules. The ablution facilities, as you exit the back door of the auditorium, it's on the left-hand side. We will not be allowing any smoking in this venue. In case of emergency, the exit door is on my right-hand side. May I now take the opportunity to request all members present here that we put our phones on silent, please. And we keep them on silent for the duration of the briefing. Thank you. We also have Wi-Fi connection in the room. As you can see, your username and passwords are available, pasted on the walls alongside. Now we will allow our panelists to speak and then take a round of questions. Each media house will be permitted 2 questions per round. We will take at least 3 rounds of the questions for today. And for questions, may I please request our colleagues, the media, that when you do want to pose a question, just raise your hand. And as soon as you are acknowledged, you just tell us your name and the media house that you represent. On completion of the briefing, members of the media will be allowed, I'm requesting that they allow the panelists to vacate the room, and then everyone else will follow. Pardon me for the error. Refreshments will be served, and we have members available to assist you to the venue where refreshments will be served. And now I would like to request our esteemed mayor to say a word of welcome. Mayor, ma'am, over to you.
Program Director, Chief of the South African National Defence Force, Director General of the Department of Military Veterans, Department of Defense Coordinator, Armed Forces Day, members of Plenary Defense Council, members of Military Command Council, generals, admirals, officers, warrant officers, members of the parade, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Ndima Chironi, Aushini, Tobela. On behalf of the people of Thulamela Local Municipality, I welcome you to this historic occasion, 2026 National Armed Forces Day Media Briefing. Allow me today to appreciate this moment as I join you and welcome you to our municipality. It is an honor for you that so many of you have taken time out of your busy schedule to witness the significance of the Armed Forces Day. Program Director, Armed Forces Day Parade will be held on Saturday, 21st February 2026. The main event of the Armed Forces Day celebration will be held at the Tawani Mall along the R524 Punda Maria Road in Thohoyandou. On Armed Forces Day, we proudly salute the courageous men and women who serve in a nation's military, including active duty, reserve, and veteran personnel. It encourages citizens to reflect on the importance of national defense and the need for ongoing support of Armed Forces Day. It is a time for the public to engage with military, with events often including air shows, open houses, and educational activities that build awareness of the Armed Forces' role in the community. Program Director, Thulamela is ready to host 2026 National Armed Forces Day. Ladies and gentlemen, Thulamela Local Municipality offers a warm, hospitable welcome, promoting its vision as a premier, sustainable tourist, agricultural hub in Limpopo, targeting city status by 2030. Our municipality emphasizes a rich cultural history, scenic landscapes, and a commitment to community-driven development, fostering local economic growth, and improved quality of life for all residents. We are calling on the citizens of our municipality to give our visitors a warm welcome for them to return for leisure to enjoy a myriad of offerings Thulamela has. Program Director, with these few words, feel free and welcome to Thulamela Local Municipality, an economic hub for Wembe District of Limpopo Province. Let this media session be a testament to our commitment to serve our people. I thank you, Ndiaribo.
Thank you very much, Mayor. We are indeed honored for you to have welcomed us into your yard. We truly appreciate your hospitality, ma'am. Thank you very much. May I now request the Chief of the South African National Defence Force to deliver the Armed Forces Day statement. Chief SANDF, sir.
To the Program Director, DCC, to the Mayor and the media houses, I think the name media launch is appropriate because we are launching the media to go out there and be the disciples and tell the world and our country that the Defense Force has descended into Thohoyandou in partnership with our people to be with the people and showcase what the Defense Force is all about. And that is the plea that we are saying to the media. Go out there, tell everybody, small roads, rat race roads, in highways, in the capitals, and in all the cities of the world. They must understand that we have come down to be part and parcel of the people that we have said we defend. We have chosen to come here, and I want to make a quick reminder of this important day that we are going to celebrate. In the calendar of the South African National Defence Force, we have got one key day that we dedicate to those who have served and laid a supreme sacrifice, those patriots that are still living and continuing to defend the country, together with those that have perished during the sinking of SAS Mendi in 1917. So, the date that had been chosen to celebrate the armed forces had been chosen to look at those dynamics. It is also with a sense of deeply somber, yet a very, very prideful occasion, balancing the modern excellence of the South African National Defence Force and the profound historic tragedy of SS Mendi. This day is a celebration of both courage of those men and women in uniform who are serving internally and externally. So there are those that couldn't return from the distant horizon and have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We will remember them and continue to celebrate their bravery. So since the inception of this important event called the Armed Forces Day in the calendar of the National Defence Force in 2013, we have traversed almost all the provinces of our country. Today, as we come to Thohoyandou, It is our second bite in the province of Limpopo. We were in Polokwane. But now that we are going on the second round, because we have gone through all the provinces, we started the second round in KZN, where we went to Richards Bay. We went back to Eastern Cape for the second time, and now it is the turn for us to come to Limpopo again. And we took a decision that let us pause and see, why must we be in the capital of Limpopo province when we have to be with the people, and where our people are? It's where we will then have to factor in the Armed Forces Day. Then we said the outlying areas of our province, it's where we will go for the Armed Forces Day when we come to Limpopo. We did the same when we went to KZN for the second time. First time, we went to Durban. Second time, we said, no, we're not going to the capital. We are going to Richards Bay, because we had to move through all the cane fields and make the people see their defense force and work with the defense force as partners, because security is our collective responsibility and we cannot leave our people behind. So it is not just fashionable that we go and parade, and it's not by default that we are currently commemorating the Armed Forces Day here in Vembe District Municipality, in Thulamela local municipality, but it's part and parcel of that important part of ongoing effort to expose both our defense force and our willingness to defend our people. So we are coming to forge that partnership to say, going into the future, the defense of our country, the people of Thulamela are bordering with 3 countries. So I will say 3 countries because whoever doesn't know the extent of Kruger National Park, Kruger National Park, despite the fact that it is closer to Mozambique, it is like it's a country on its own. It's bigger than some of the states, nation states that we know. So we border with Mozambique, we border with Zimbabwe, we border with Botswana, and over and above, we border with Kruger National Park. So we have taken that decision, and the activities that will take place here will include Career Expo that will take place at the Fun Park, which is going to be here in Thohoyandou. We will have an interfaith church service, and that is going to be a wow, because we have engaged all faith. If I say all faith, it includes even denominations that other people are thinking that they are outside the mainstream church categories. We will dance to the tune of Umkuku from the ZCC. We will have our own traditional faith, which is African religion. We will have people from the Islam environment. We will have people from Aboshembe. So don't be surprised to see all this grouping coming together, because the defense force is the uniting force that brings everyone, because our responsibility simply lies in defending the people of South Africa. The Armed Forces Day is not only showcasing our hardware, but it is also telling our people that we are able to deploy at the shortest possible time to any part of the country when and if required. So this is like a rehearsal. Should we be required to deploy in Limpopo, we will be able to, in the shortest possible time, be here. And we want to prove that by bringing in the elements of the defense force that will be parading with the equipment for that matter. We have always said we train as we fight, and since we train as we fight, this is like a rehearsal of that type of deployment when the Defense Force might be required to come and deploy. Let me also pause and say the Defense Force subscribes to the approach to security where the referent remains the people. And the approach so that us as the National Defense Force, accepting human security as our preferred option and philosophy, as opposed to the state-centric approach in the context of human security rather than purely defending the state. And human security, as we have learned, is a people-centered approach focusing on protecting individuals from broad range of non-military threats rather than depending on states and defending the state's borders. It emphasizes freedom from fear, that is violence, freedom from want, that is freedom from poverty and hunger, and freedom from indignity to ensure survival, livelihood, and dignity of our people. I'm raising this matter particularly because currently we have witnessed an array of devastating floods caused by more rain for more than a week in this province and Limpopo, and Mpumalanga. The South African National Defense Force had brought with it expertise to assist in the restoration of damaged infrastructure and in that way contributing in taking away the vulnerabilities and fears of our people by restoring the so much needed infrastructure. The Defense Force will also be partnering with the Spouses Forum in terms of trying to alleviate challenges that those who had been affected by the drought are also assisted. We are bringing in capabilities that will restore bridges, and for your information, the capabilities that we are bringing in is to augment the Welisizwe rural bridge construction that we had already started, but this time we are coupling it with giving assistance to our people that had been affected by the floods. So the Spouses Forum had already started an effort to collect both non-perishable and perishable goods, as well as clothing, blankets, canned stuff, and many other things that those who are willing to contribute will donate, at least to make the lives of those who are affected by the floods better. During the period, we also have medical practitioners under the South African Military Health Service who have been providing and will continue to provide health service to the population in the province. And this will be primarily the deep rural parts of our province. And that will be in Skukuni, Waterberg, Wembe, and any other areas that we will deem fit to go and provide the necessary oral, ancillary health, social welfare, as well as animal health, mental and dental care. We will also, together with the environmental people, look at how we will also partner in ensuring the sustainment development of our environment. It is an honor for us to be here, and particularly in the food basket, not only of our province, but of our country, Limpopo, which some dub the Eden of South Africa. We will see activities of the National Defence Force, and we can call on the communities to be assured that they are going to be interacting with a disciplined force that the Constitution had put at your disposal to serve you as the people, not only of this region, but of our country. I want to honestly say, we will be here not to dictate to the people as to how they must continue with their lives, but as to how we partner in ensuring to the well-being and welfare of our people and continue to provide that hope, even in times when hope is abundant, because your defense force is the last line of defense and the giver of hope to the hopeless. We therefore want to say to the mayor, your defense force is here, and it is testimony that will continue to partner with our people all over our country. May we continue to be the ones that tell and give hope, to say, go to bed and sleep and have a dream of a better South Africa. And that dream can only be created by the partnership between your armed forces and the people. Armed forces taking responsibility of protecting and defending the territorial integrity. So we are therefore saying we launch the media. I'm reiterating, let the media be the mouthpiece of our people to say, here we are. We will continue to serve you. Thank you, Program Director, and to the media houses. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief SANDF, sir. And now we come to the questions and answer session. And may I request, please, our members from the media, colleagues, if we can focus our questions on this year's Armed Forces Day. Thank you very much. We have roving mics around. So as I mentioned, you raise your hand, your name, and the media house you represent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Franz Luagamachate from Progressive Independent News Agency. To the General Mapanya, we've not had the Armed Forces Day for the past year or two. And to the SANDF, how is the feeling that, again, we are back on the Armed Forces Day? And my second question is, what kind of tangible impact will SANDF want to leave to the communities of this region and also those of Limpopo? And then the last question to the General is, okay, while I'm remembering the last question that I had to the General, just to the Mayor, Mayor Rambuda. Being a host for this year's Armed Forces Day, as the municipality, how do you feel, and how are the communities, particularly in your region, feeling about this, and what are your expectations? Thank you so much. When I remember the other question, then I'll raise my hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other hands? Okay.
Right. My name is Thabo Makwakwa from Sputnik Africa Radio. My question is, amongst all the, basically the question is centered around what display or activities are to be expected on the very same day of the Armed Forces celebration. Thank you very much.
Who was is next. Oh, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for the privilege to address a question to you. My name is Johan Lottering. I'm the senior editor of International Air Affairs and Aviation and Defense magazine. We're now in our 24th issue. I have two questions with different origins. The first one is because you are focusing on the humanitarian aspect of the South African Defence Force. Are you considering expanding the South African Permanent Force as a national caregiver, a national employer, and a capacity creator in view of your internal focus? That's the first part. The second part of my question deals with external threats. It was also mentioned on the Prestige parade on the 29th that there are indeed prying eyes, and it relates maybe to our relationship with countries like America that is deteriorating, and we have certain shortfalls that have been reported in the media in terms of equipment. Could you allude to how we're going to address those threats and those issues? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That takes care of our first round of questions. As I said, we will allow another round of questions. Chief SANDF, sir, if you wish to respond to the first questions.
Thank you very much, General. I really appreciate what Franz had been asking, because it touches on the nerve of our being here, the feeling of the people in us having the Defence Force here and the impact that we will make. I will not try and delve into the economic impact, because wherever you have got people going down or coming to an area, the economic spin-offs is huge. In the tourism environment, you have addressed already those aspects. But what we want to make as an impact is to be seen to be delivering on the compact that the National Defence Force has with its people, constitutionally mandated to be the custodian of that element of state power that speaks about the defense and the protection of our people. So we will be happy if by the time we leave here, we'll have created an environment both of acceptance that security is a collective responsibility, and we can only succeed if we collaboratively participate and partner in ensuring that we make South Africa safe, because that is our primary responsibility. So, other than the other spin-offs that comes with our presence here, the primary impact that we want to make is for acceptance by the people that their defense force is here and will continue to be their defenders, the defenders of their freedoms. Freedom from fear, freedom from want, and freedom from indignity. And that is what we are here to make an impact on. And that is the reason why we will also derive from it other aspects of defending the territorial integrity, because this province, as I said, is bordering 3 countries plus the park that is bigger than other states. Hence, I said we are also bordering the Kruger National Park. So, during our presence here, in all what we will be doing, other than being a deterrent, we will also be enhancing in that primary function of protecting the territorial integrity of our country. That is the impact that we want to make. Coming to the second question, where I aspired to be a doctor, so I write like I'm writing a script. What type of, how is the feeling within the Defense Force and the general public coming back again after a year without the Armed Forces Day? It was a very deliberate move for us not to host. And actually, we had been debating whether it shouldn't be a norm, that Armed Forces Day shouldn't be on a yearly basis. On a yearly basis, we will observe the day, but to grandstand and come up with a huge force to our people, we are doing an appreciation that it can be maybe after every 2 years. And that is what we're still thinking. We haven't concluded on that decision, but all the members of the National Defense Force are very excited that this is again another opportunity to be with their people, to be where they belong, because they come from the people and they belong to the people. And that is the feeling that is within the Defense Force. And the people, if I may say, are equally excited that their Defense Force again is not staying there, it's coming to them. The third question that you intended to ask, you will ask it offline, because if it was really necessary for you to ask it now, you were not going to forget. So let's talk about it much later. Thank you very much. I think those were the questions that were directed to me from France. But allow me to also just touch on what Tabo had asked, which I will confess, I missed it because the aircon was more on my left ear. I just wrote among the basic questions that are being asked, and then I switched off. I couldn't really get what... I was reminded that you were asking about the activities on the Career Expo. I think because I've got a panel that is very, very strong and knowledgeable, both from the operational point of view and from the human resource point of view. The Career Expo issues, I will at least allow one of my panelists, which is now the career manager of all members that are in brown uniform, the Chief of the Army, to be answering on the Career Expo. Chief of the Army.
Thank you, Chief, sir. Let me also acknowledge the Mayor, all the members in attendance, and the Media House. From the Career Expo, the focus will be based on all the services that we have within the National Defense Force, starting from the landward forces in the form of the South African Army, the South African Air Force, the South African Navy, the South African Health Services. Chief, I must also confirm there, we also have projects that have even started from the side of the South African Health Services in the form of Oluyetu project. Furthermore, in the questions, Thabo wanted to know the form of display on that particular day. Like the Chief said, we will be displaying our force in the form of a capability that is a brigade, ready to respond, ready to defend, ready to be what is expected to be, with all the services again starting with the landward forces, the Air Force, the Navy, the medical services. That is going to be the nature of that parade at a brigade level. I thank you.
Thank you, Chief Army. Let me, now that you have answered that particular one, come to the one that was raised by Johan. There are two issues that Johan had raised. The concept of human security as a philosophy within the South African National Defence Force is premised on the centrality of us looking at what are the vulnerabilities that our people face. And if we have to defend our people, what is it that the South African National Defence Force has to do? It does not translate to taking away the responsibilities of other state departments. Most people keep on saying the Defence Force is a government within a government because it has almost all sectors that society needs in taking care of their lives. We have got doctors, we have got engineers, we have got plumbers, we have got, you can name it, and we are capable of responding. But primarily, that is meant to be to support our internal and external operations, because when you are out there, you will not have the Department of Health to be looking after the soldiers. If you are out there, you will not have the Department of Agriculture to give fruit and vegetable to our people. And you're out there, you're not going to be having other people that deals with the environment to come and support you. So the Department of Defense took a stance to say, with what we have, we can also make a difference in the lives of our people in support of our philosophy of subscribing to human security. Hence, where people cannot access amenities like hospitals, schools, the points where they get their pension, because when they have to cross the river, they are unable to cross because there is no bridge. Then we put the bridges. When we go to an area and we find that our people do not have veterinary services, we take our veterinary services to our people so that our agriculturists across the board, across all races, we provide that service. You will recall very recently when there were challenges in the Val, the Defence Force was approached. We made it a point that we resuscitated that infrastructure with our engineers. So the concept of human security demands on us to be responsive to the challenges that our people face, and we continue to do so, knowing that our primary function is to defend and protect the territorial integrity and to protect the people of South Africa. That's my primary responsibility. And taking away the vulnerabilities and the fears contributes to the people of South Africa feeling safe. So we will continue to provide those services whilst at the same time ensuring that we defend and protect the Republic of South Africa. We are the custodians of the Constitution because we are the creatures of the Constitution. Coming to the second question, which is a very deep, fundamental question, because we talk about the threats, both internal and external, both physical and intangible. And at this stage, what Johan is asking, it is going to be perceived to be bordering on the political arena or sphere. I will try and attempt to respond to it without getting into the political playing field, because being a soldier we are apolitical, and we basically had been created by the political structures. That is where I want to put that disclaimer to say, foreign relation aspects, like what Johan is asking, is saying, hey, the country is facing, we are seeing from left to right that the country's relations with the US is going this way or that way and deteriorating. For me, as the Chief of the National Defense Force, and as a true representative of the people of South Africa in ensuring that they are defended, I will leave that element of where do we now respond to that. Two entities that will be able to really address it meaningfully is both DICO and the presidency. We have got one thing that we do within the defense. When we are training and fighting, we continue to be an element that enhances foreign relation in another way, because we have got an arm that deals with foreign relation, which is also enhancing our own diplomacy. And therefore, we are also an element that amplifies and be the vehicle that makes the lives of our diplomats much more easier by deploying the defense attaché and military attachés. So that is the relationship that we create that makes it easier to access areas that other diplomats cannot access because they might be of security nature, and we come back and then share. So that is the seamless element within the Defense Force that enhances our own diplomacy. In terms of the relation, the temperature is best measured by DICO. It's cold, warm, hot. DICO can deduce on that. And then we will follow in terms of the policy thrust that our country takes. I think in that way, I have tried to answer it really honestly and fairly. The other question was not directed to me. I think it is addressed to the Honorable Mayor from France, which I want to push now over to the Honorable Mayor to tackle. Thank you.
To all media houses, thank you for thinking of us for this story on 2026 Armed Forces Day. While we appreciate the opportunity, we won't be able to participate in an interview at this time due to the nature of this topic. Then to assist you with your reporting, I can offer alternative like the written statement or any other contact. I thank you.
I know it's our political head here and leader. I want to also come in because the mayor is treading very carefully on this particular aspect. I said whilst I was responding to one question to say the excitement is not only within the members of the National Defense Force. The excitement is in the air. Wherever we go, we've been here now for quite some time. We started at the capital in Polokwane, engaging with the leadership in Polokwane. And the excitement, you could feel it, the walls were vibrating. You could see the walls are really shaking to say, we are excited. This had been long overdue for you to come and be with the people. When we came to assess, we were busy assessing the damage that had been caused by the floods. We went to Tulamela, we went to Mutale, we went to Collins Chavane, we went to almost all the areas, and we have identified areas where there had been a need. And part of the excitement that we felt, that came from the appreciation from our people, those who had never seen the Defense Force. And you know, wherever we were going, when the chopper touched down, I was flogged by hundreds of citizens, not just because they had never seen a chopper, but to say, thank you very much for bringing the Armed Forces Day to this part of the world. And that message reverberates, and we feel the excitement that we have seen cannot be explained by words. That's why now the Honorable Mayor is saying, hey, you know what, if I want to express that, it might take the whole morning, because people are excited. And that is the feeling that we're getting. Both, we went as far as Malamlele when we were assessing the damages, and the same feeling. Other people were coming to say, how are we going to be able to come there? Are you going to provide transport for us to be there? And those questions, youngsters were saying, we would like to be part of this event. How are we going to be there? Because we do not have the ability to be there on ourselves. So we gave them an assurance to say, where we can, we will get the chief of the army buses and any other transport that we might get to go and get those school children and those who are willing to come to be part of these activities. I'm sorry, Honorable Mayor, I had to come in because you were not there when I was down there in Malamlele, because that is not part of your district. So I just wanted to respond to what is the feeling, what is the atmosphere currently amongst the people. We are still working on it, and we will rely on the media to be the mouthpiece that go and speak about the Armed Forces Day and take it to the people and stir those emotions such that our people can fully appreciate and understand. And that is the role that the media must play. That's why I'm saying media launch, it is like a direct order to say, media, go out there, spread it. This is your defense force, and you're the force multiplier. Thank you.
Thank you, General. We now move on to the second last part of our question and answer session. If there's, Franz, you want to go first?
Thank you so much, because I remembered that question. So that question was about what the General have said in his opening remarks, that now in this second leg of the Armed Forces Day, starting from the KZN, that they did not go to the capital city. Instead, it was Richards Bay, and now it's not Polokwane, which is the capital city. It's in this region. So are you then saying this is a precedence for the next Armed Forces Days that are to follow, that we are likely to have them not in the capital cities again, but in other regions of whatever province will be hosting? Thank you.
The lady over there in the back. Where's the mic?
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, generals, and to the mayor. My name is Naomi Kobe with ENCA. My question sort of piggybacks off of my colleague Johan's question, in that, you know, Armed Forces Day is one of those military exercises showing the capabilities of the Defense Force. We saw you in Simonstown a few weeks ago also for that exercise, Will for Peace, but also some contention there around the fact that Iran and Russia were participating, and, you know, just maybe this may inflame the US. My question then is, are you concerned that these military exercises are being increasingly politicized? and what approach is the SANDF taking to balance the politics of the day with strengthening the organization and just making sure it is properly capacitated. Thank you.
Thank you. The last.
Good morning, everyone. It's Heavy T from Univen, from the University of Venda. We are very privileged to have the Commander General, Bo Makwanya, and thank you very much. Mine is just a proposal and a suggestion that since you have given us a go-ahead to spread the word as the media, how do we get hold of SANDF communication officials to come to different radio stations for interviews? I think that will be much better because it's a bit difficult, you know, to access SANDF. By the way, I had a privilege of taking a picture with you, Bo Makwanya. That was during the COVID-19. So another question here is it because of budget constraints that you can't have Armed Forces Day maybe 2 years in a row? I don't know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let us offer the gentleman here in the front. He's been trying to get.
Thank you very much. My name is Madua Gerekanyo from Univen FM, the University of Venda. So my question is that I heard, General, during your presentation, you indicated that you went all over in different areas, checking the damages which were caused by rain, which is it's a natural disaster. It's not something that we can control. We were expecting that after having such heavy rains. So my question to you is that, are there any mechanisms to also blend in the issue that we're having, the matter of GBV, because that's a moving train that it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. It's speeding down time to time. So if there are any, maybe you can then share with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I take it there's no other questions for the second round? Thank you.
I'm sure. Thank you, Program Director. He is trying to fight with nature in that I happen to be short. He says the mic is high. And I said to him, no, it's just that I'm short. It's not that the mic is high. If somebody was taller was sitting here, it couldn't be seen to be short. Let me now come to what first, what France is asking with regard to the iteration that the second round of going to provinces with the armed forces will focus mainly on the rural and outlying areas. That was a deliberate action that was taken by the defense to say, if we claim that the defense is from the people and it's of the people, we therefore have to be with the people. The people are not only the ones that are in urban areas, but the people is an inclusive construct that actually pities us between the highly developed urban areas and the poorly resourced and undeveloped rural areas. We therefore said, if our focus is only in the urban areas, we will be missing the majority of our people that do not have access to the urban areas. Some of the bases that the defense forces are having are in the urban areas, and therefore, people in the urban areas sees the defense force figuratively on a daily basis. But there are children that are out there that had never seen somebody in uniform except when somebody transgresses and they see a blue uniform of a policeman. So we are trying to change that thinking and say, going on, it is a mixture. If we have addressed the urban communities, which is equally important, we need also to be cognizant of the fact that South Africa is a very poor country with a huge population in the rural area, which is deprived of any possibility of any form of development at times. So we will, going forward, have the Armed Forces Day, this edition and the next edition and the other edition. When we come to the third round, because we have got only those provinces, and if we conclude all those provinces, we will go again. We may have a portion in the rural and a portion in the urban. A hybrid that will be able to address the plight of our people, because we are a defense force that is inclusive, and therefore we cannot. By the way, after the Armed Forces Day, by the time we go back to the headquarters, we get floods and floods of applications. Now, just guess, if you get floods and floods of applications that are only coming from the urban area, where maybe someone had never seen a cow and you only employ kids that are coming from the urban area, how are you going to defend this country? You ask him to climb a tree because some of them, the only tallest tree that they've seen is a peach tree. And so you expect them to understand the dynamics of the African battle space, and yet you are only recruiting from one sector of your society. So, yes, indeed, going forward, it will be hybrid. We will focus on taking the Armed Forces Day to the people. So I think I had to get deep into it because it is quite important for us to outline it. Now, I think you tried in a very nice way to drag me into an issue that I said maybe it must not deflate the temperature of what we want to build. But people of South Africa has the right to know. And the media is one of the platforms that we need to at least privilege to educate our people. So your question is touching on issues that are currently in the public domain in terms of hey, where am I? Oh yeah, in terms of the exercise, but what you were asking towards the end was not the contention of other states participating, but the gist of your question is on the last part of your question to say, are we concerned with what South Africans out there are starting to peddle in, trying to say we are more and more seeing exercise being politicized? Let me tell you, in the defense, we do have a way of preparing and carrying out exercises. And one would say the system of conducting exercise had always been militarily. So the narrative from you as journalists is that exercises are being politicized. Multilateral exercises are a domain of international relations. let me put it that way, in the sense that as a country, we have got diplomatic relations with different countries. And the stance that I said earlier that I want to try and not position what we do as the military outside the fact that being a creature of the Constitution, we are a political structure because we've been created by the Constitution. And therefore, what we do is purely to support the constitutional order. So we are simply, how I'm trying to respond to your question is to try and gravitate away from encroaching in other people's sphere, because in as far as we are concerned as the military, our exercises remains military exercises. The issue that you started or introduced your question with is now bordering on foreign policy aspects, which I think this matter at the current moment is being handled in 3 spheres: at the presidency and with DICO, which are the real competent bodies that are handling it, and they are handling it in a very amicable way. We as the Defense Force are always there because we take cue from the strategic direction that is given to us, and we then translate it from the Constitution to the Defense Act, from the Defense Act to the Defense Review, as the policy documents that informs how we should continue to conduct our business as the Defense Force. So we carry on. We have got a military strategy, and we are currently going around telling you that we have come up with a program that we say is our journey to greatness, which is a plan that we have put together to ensure that your Defense Force going into the future will be able to address the challenges, contemporary challenges and future challenges that the country may face. And that is what we have put together in that document, the journey to greatness. So our conduct of exercises, operations will be defined within the context of our journey to greatness, falling directly on the golden thread of supporting and respecting our Constitution. The next one that I want to, I don't know if it is going to be difficult. This one from, I just wrote to Univen, but it's about a very good suggestion to say the communication. We are open, and Chief Army is here as the main executor. So I will leave it to him, and I will tell you, because he has a plan. They gave me a plan in this document, which he gave it to me to go and read. So he knows this document. There is what we call media plan, and he is going to talk about it. Say amen.
Thank you once again, Chief. I must say to the gentleman from the university, what the Chief is saying, that we have a media plan, and in response to your question, we have a media team that is part of the integrated team planning to execute this whole AFD. Those are the members who will present those plans to all the entities within all sectors of our communities and society, and in particular the university as a direct question. so that you should know exactly how to come into contact with us and how to come into contact with officials. If it has to do with the exercise, if it has to do with other matters also, that team is part of the planning group, coordinating group, and the facilitation team. And that will be made available to you. I thank you.
Thank you, Siame. He is not only going to avail the media teams, he is going to avail himself when you need to speak to him as the chief of the army and the main executor of the armed forces. So is General Ntenjane, who is the one who is actually doing it on behalf of chief of the army. So these teams, they are very knowledgeable people that are sitting here that had been planning this whole Armed Forces Day. And there are people that are coming from the medical fraternity that is planning Project Owet, which is a very noble program. They are, you know, some people have only seen it in the Bible, that the blind can see. But these are the people that are going to make the blind to see, because they are going to deal with the cataract. They are going to deal with issues that our elderly people had been grappling with for years, and mark my word, the blind are going to see. So that is what AA2 is going to do. Other than that, the other aspect that came out from Maduva, Ngalekanyo, indeed, we went out to go and assess the damage, and I will hastily say that we had always been worried and concerned about the scourge of GBV and F, which basically we say it's a pandemic. During these armed forces, we are not only going to integrate elements of things that are the ills to society. We will come up with educative messages as well as intervention measures that we can put together, because this is the whole of society approach that is needed to fight this scourge. It is not only the people that are law enforcement agents that are supposed to be dealing with, because by the time the issue of gender-based violence comes to the fore, it is behind closed doors that it starts. And at times, when a man that had been so much violated come to say, hey, I'm being abused, or a female that has been abused come to report that, hey, the damage had already been done. So society, it's a societal ill that requires that the whole of society approach must be taken. But during this time, part of what we will be teaching and interacting with our people is to say no. The only challenge that one was seeing is the focus had always been on the girl child. But if you continue with that approach, the girl child becomes the victim, but now the boy child, it's not addressed. So we are saying the teams that will be going and interacting must not only wear the walk clappies, they must have a wider vision and not a tunnel vision in addressing this matter, which is a societal ill. So yes, we have got programs, and within, we might not be able to get in touch with everyone, but messages and messages that will come when we are addressing our people and when we are dealing with the communities, we will also educate them to say, there is no small transgression to say, malume unikomelan. No. There is no small transgression. As soon as you find that somebody is doing something unbecoming and untoward, then that thing must be reported as soon as possible, and then the interlinked between society, the police, and all other law enforcement agencies is the thing that we are going to teach during these armed forces. Yes, it's incorporated into our program. I think I've touched on the issues that had been asked, and I don't know whether the program director is going to go on and on. I still have, being a commander, I want to see where this thing is going to happen. I want to go and see where the people are going to march. So I think you are going to thank the media and allow them to go and amplify our message, whilst I go and at least do the inspection of a commander.
I completely
Thank you.
agree with you, sir. Thank you, General. And I think if some of the media, our colleagues, still have a great appetite for questions, you are welcome to contact us. We are available here today for you. But for now, I think we will come to a conclusion. Just a few announcements from my side. Accreditation, it's in relation to accreditation, actually, for everyone that is here. Accreditation for soldiers is taking place at 15 Sai Infantry Battalion. And for the media, service providers, and all other guests, it is at the Toyando Town Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings to an end the AFD 2026 media briefing. Thank you very much to each member of the media for taking your time to be here with us for your participation today. I thank you.
Really,